Hello, friends. Welcome to the Artist Within podcast. I'm your host, Adela, and this podcast is produced and sponsored by Project Human Think, a new way to think. New way to think about mental health, new way to think about health, new way to think about being a human being. And I'm really, really excited for this episode because I want to catch you up on things. And then I'm excited to share with you a little bit of my journey in a different form and a different venue than you're normally used to because, well, I don't normally talk about all of the stuff that I do and how great I am because I don't. But I am now. Why? Because I've looked over the last few years of my life on a whole lot of things, and I've realized the amount of work I've put into myself, into my craft, into forging this woman today is immense. And it's important to share and reflect upon that. It's important to look at the venues of expression that you've used to create yourself. It's important to navigate the mediums around you, within you, and create new ones if you don't have them. And so I've done that in one way or another in over these last couple of years, and it's been fantastic. So today I want to talk to you about that. Before I get into it, though, as always, let's take a look at a few things. One, join the Think Fam community. Go to our website at phinc-ing.org and sign up right there. It's a little click on there. It pops up right there for you. I know those are annoying, but it's the way we get your attention. So let it pop up and let me get your attention. But definitely sign up on there. And once you do sign up, you will receive a PDF download called the Roadmap to Functionality. And it is our way of saying thank you for being a supporter, being a follower, being someone who is willing and wanting to take their future and themselves into their own hands, become accountable, responsible for the consequences of their realities, and who's willing to work because they believe, as we do, that they're worth the effort. And again, this is one of our very small ways of appreciating you and letting you know is by providing you with that free downloadable PDF that you can start with there. And as always, you'll go over your needs, requirements, and wants, and we'll be doing a full in-depth class as the year comes on, really more about that concept. But in the meantime, we believe in starting right away, right? Like I believe wholeheartedly that as long as you're moving forward, no matter what, you're winning. So move forward over to our website. You like how I did that? Move over to our website today, sign up, get that free PDF and take a look and start evaluating your life a little bit today. See where you fit in, see how you can navigate it, and start your winning process today. Once you're done with that, do me a favor because it'd be awesome. Take a look at us and what we do. We have been featured on a couple of our local stations for our for the organization to kind of work and talk about who we are and building our brand. And it's been awesome. You can also get your healing journey thing right here, but it'll give you a little bit of insight on us. As always, take a look at that. I'd love for you to go to our Artist Within podcast. This is where you will see our whole season right now. And as I've mentioned in the last podcast that I did in the last episode, I am going to extend this season because I'm going to extend it in a little different way, only because there's so much more to talk about. Resilience isn't just about today. It isn't just about for one season. As I've learned, I have been resilient my whole life, and everything that has been leading up to here has been also strengthening that resilience. And the conversations that I've started to have with human beings, I realize that it's the same thing for them. So we're going to continue to keep it on there. So we'd love for you to check them out. We have our latest episode, The Secrets of Success, out there. Understanding your $24 day. And as you know how much I talk about the $24 days, $24, 24 hours, your money, your time, you're important. So check it out. And you'll be able to hear it on any of your streaming platforms, like your Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple Podcasts, all the rage. But check us out. We'd love your support in there. On top of that, I really want to hone in your attention on a little bit of a thing we have here called Define Your Narrative Books for Change. And it's a link to books that I have personally read and I have recommended or have audio listened to. And I've recommended to other human beings who have given me good feedback and how it's helped shape and navigate their life and their narrative. Part of defining your narrative in your life is literally all about defining the narrative of your life as an individual, about what you listen to, what you smell, what you taste. Like, all of your senses need to be invigorated and need to be refocused, recentered, restructured, relearned. All of that needs to be redone, if you will, so that you can start anew. But if you only do one or two, it's hard. Or if you only do one, it's hard. You have many that are going to be many built-in memories within your body, mind, soul, and even your own habits and your speech that it's going to be hard and difficult to do on your own. So having other humans help you navigate through that is very important. And this is what these books are. You're going to click on this and it will take you straight to our Books for Change, and you'll see a whole bunch of books in here. Every single one of these I have listened to, and I have learned something out of, and they're fantastic. I have so many more to add in here, and I'm going to be adding a bit more for you, but start with some of these. Inner Engineering by Sadhguru is really one of the easiest concepts, because you look at this body and this temple as the engine that it is, and how you need to oil it and grease it and work it and understand what software it needs. It's an amazing concept of being able to look at it from a different perspective. And again, it's all about changing your perspective. So check it out, because it's there for you. That is all free resources you have. You can start changing your life today if you decided to. And as always, just a reminder, this is all for educational purposes and and these are all free resources for you, so you can check them out. All the links are there. And as a reminder, we're not medical professionals. We're just a peer-to-peer advocacy group, but we are a peer-to-peer advocacy group where we want to advocate, educate, and inform you on the resources you have, on the new ways that you can start navigating your life and advocating for yourself, and that you are worth the effort in all of this. You're worth the time, because look at what I've been able to build by putting the time and the effort into myself. My $24 has become extremely valuable. So take a listen to that. We love your support on there. Love to have you there. Last but not least, I'd love for you to click over onto our Invest in Change, and another way that you can support us, again, not only by sharing, liking, subscribing, hitting that notify button, the whole 9 yards, becoming a member of our joint family or our Think family. You can also help us by sponsoring us or donating to our organization. We have quite a few things coming up over these next couple of months, and this next year we'll need your help. We do need your help. And as an organization that is a nonprofit that is solely funded by our community, and we have been, all of our projects have been solely funded by community and by our local businesses, and by just generous human beings who have decided they believe in our mission. We also believe in this grassroots effort to do what we're doing because we believe in the human. We believe in ourselves. We believe in the effort of ourselves. We believe that we can define our narrative, hold it true, create that structure, make it our own, and ensure it's for the human, ultimately for the human. So we encourage your support on that. We would love that support if you're in the position or capacity to do so. $1 goes a long way. 5 is fantastic. 100, well, we'll have those big, wonderful conversations. At the end, though, it's whatever you can do, however you can support us. We appreciate it all. Literally, by listening to me, you are supporting me, and that is more than enough. If that is what you can do, that is your state of existence and where your life and where you can be completely, absolutely acceptable and understood. So do not feel obligated in any way. But if you're in position to, and you want to, and you can, please, we would love that support as we are building and navigating a whole lot of new things for that. All right, on to one more thing before I get into my core, the heart of what we're going to talk about this episode, and that's my fashion, my second love. I love fabric. It's going to be fantastic. I want you to go over to our YouTube page. We have 151 subscribers. I'm so excited, and I'm so honored that you are here. thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for finding value and benefit in our conversation, in our content. It's fantastic. It gives me the confidence to continue. It gives me the accountability to keep going, because sometimes you can fall off the wagon and stay off the wagon, or you could push yourself too hard and burn out. So I'm trying to work on that good, and there's no balance. There really is no balance, but I'm trying to work on a good balance, if you will, of when I can and when I can't, and doing what I can while I can, versus pushing myself in different ways. So I appreciate you coming on and rewarding me by subscribing to the podcast and to our YouTube channel, because that tells me that what I'm doing is impacting somebody. And I've said from the beginning, if I can help change and save one life in what we're doing, and I know that's a cliche thing to say because everybody says it, I really do, but for me, genuinely, I have been in situations in my life where one human, their one action, has saved and changed my life, and saved and changed the trajectory of my life. And I could not be more grateful for that. So I want to be that human, and I want to pay it forward. I want to pay it back through what I do and through the work that I have. So I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Hit that notification button so you can get notified of all of our new episodes that are coming out, and we have quite a few ones coming in there. And again, thank you for watching it. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing. It's pretty epic. Look at your girl up here. She's got all these little videos of her. You see her? She's doing so good. Look at that face. It's a wonderful face. You can't fix that face. Anyway, let's get back into the conversation. So, a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about is for those of you who are listening, I appreciate you listening. For those of you who are watching, definitely thank you for watching as well. I am making mistakes right now, right here, because I'm my own producer, so I apologize. There we go. I'm back on track. So for those of you who are watching and you saw a couple of things happening there, that was me. That was all me. Those of you who are listening, you didn't see any of it. That's great. Anywho, I finished an interview not too long ago with a dear friend of mine who I'm going to go visit in LA this week. And I'm so excited because this trip has been a little bit of a long time coming. And I went this in July to visit him for a short film he did for the LA film festivals. And I want to make sure that I get it right before I get... Oh, I did lose it. Okay, never mind. But I'll get it back in just a second. There we go. There we go. I'm going to make sure I get this right, because I really want to get this right. I think it's pretty... Where's his... Bear with me. Bear with me. I don't know how I lost it all. Anywho, it's coming to me somehow. I'm going to get it. I really want to get it right. There we go. I was just in there, so I know it's coming up. There we go. There we go. I'm getting there. There we go. There we go. And the tragedy of Senator Abe Foreman. I wanted to get it right because I'm not the best at remembering, and I knew there was a senator and there was an Abe and there was a Foreman in there, but I didn't know what tragedy it was, and I'm trying to remember that. But anyway, so I went to visit him. Thank you for bearing with me through that. But I went to visit him in July last year because he did this short film when he came first to LA, and they had made it all the way to the festivals, and that's a huge accomplishment to make, right? There's a lot of work that goes into producing something, into creating something, and I'm doing it on a small scale right now, but on a film scale and a level that it requires so many other conditions to consider. It's pretty epic, and it's very commendable. So I went to visit him, and it was great because I got to fall back into for a second of photographing and, playing a little bit of dress up and things that, as when you become a mom and when you have a role that's so much more important, and it is, other than all of this stuff that I do is important. It's fantastic and I love it. It's my passion. It's really who I am. But becoming a mom and being a mom, that has been the most rewarding role. So when you're that, everything else kind of falls as secondary. And when you're able to keep up with it or do as much as you can and do as much as I have, it's really cool to see and be able to take and appreciate when you get to dress up, when you get to play, when you get to be in that environment, and then you do the best you can. So I got to do that. I really got to go and play. And I got to create a outfit for this. one of the things is, and again, this is what this episode's really kind of about, is how fashion and how that portion or that medium of fashion, and there's photography also as a medium, and there's film as a medium, and there's painting, there's the podcast. This podcast is a medium. It's a different medium. It's a different way of communicating. It's a different way of expressing someone's existence, someone's being. And for me, fashion and fabric have always been one way that I have fallen in love since starting this journey. And I always knew I liked sewing. I liked putting things together. I liked the structure of it. But until about, 7-8 years ago, I didn't realize how much I loved it and how much I fell in love with just the flow. And the reason I fell in love with it is because my favorite canvas is the human body. And the human body canvas is a canvas that moves, right? That fluctuates, that is sensual, that is powerful, that especially the woman body, it is just my favorite canvas. The amount of shapes it can produce, and the amount of curves, and the amount of just, I can't even just, I love it, okay? It really, really brings fabrics to me to life. So when I meet a human, or I'm inspired by a woman, when she comes by in her form, and when I see her, I can see the whole draping, right? I can see the whole draping of a fabric. I know exactly what fabric is called. I know exactly how it's going to feel on her skin, on her body. I know how it's going to flow. I know what she'll wear. Like, I know the story. It's like an instant thing, and I love it, love it, love it. And that's how I fell in love with fabric. But I've never really talked about my fashion as far as like a fashion. And so when we started the documentary and started this whole process about 5-6 years ago, fashion wasn't necessarily the forefront. And then about 4 years ago, when the documentary was like, hey, we're going to do this, my dear friend Will, who, like I said, I'm going to visit this week, and we just finished doing our pre-visit podcast, so you'll get to hear that and listen to that next week. So tune in next week, make sure you subscribe, and you'll get to listen to that next week. And we started out doing a fashion shoot down at the Iron Horse, and that was really cool. I didn't pull up pictures for it right now, so I won't try to go search it, because it'll just take extra time that none of us have to give away. But you'll watch that and see that in the documentary. But it was really, really cool, because I got to create for the first time, almost a cohesive line, and something of just my own idea that represented each different girl and how it flowed, how it moved. This is what I wanted, different locations. So it was really cool. Not knowing anything about anything, honestly, I had no idea about anything. And over these last couple of years, I really have developed and honed in my skills into the crafting of fabric, and crafting of a structured piece, and crafting something that not just me and I will love, but a woman that wants to feel good, a woman that wants to represent herself in a way that is not so Forever 21, which, no shade to Forever 21, but that more luxurious, expensive, and solid, right? Solid existence in the fabric and how you dress. And I love that. And so the process, I have an ongoing process on this other end that has nothing to do with the organizational work with that, but I love incorporating any chance that I can get, in any way that I can share and put my joy and put humans into that space. So this week I'm going preparing right now, and I did a few pieces and got them ready, and I wanted to share with you a few things that I have done in the past. Let me make sure I pull this up and you get to see, because I think you will enjoy it. For those of you who are watching, thank you for watching and staying here for as long as you are. And bear with me as I am the producer on this, and if anybody's interested in producing, let me know. Here we go. I'm getting it. So I'm going to show you where we're photographing, right? We are going to this one location in LA that my dear friend Will has found, and he found a little while ago. And this is perfect. This is perfect for my new pieces that I have, and the way they're gonna flow, and the colors, and the reds in the rocks. And again, Adela's gonna do her thing, and you may even see Adela climbing a few of these things because she gets so excited about stuff. It all depends on what I'm willing to do for the art. But I'm really excited because we're going to get to photographing that. And again, it's been so long since I've just been in the art space, and I haven't been in the PDF and making of the work and, just the back end of computer clicking and doing this. But I get to work and I get to create and I get to be in the space of feeling the flow of the environment, the fabric, the movement, the girls, the rush of the crew, right? And then the end result, whatever that may be. I'm so excited for that. But this is what we're filming, and I can't wait. It's very, very exciting. This is one of the pieces that I made for the last trip, and I wore this the last trip, which was cool. I'm going to bring it, and I think that'll be a cool little addition to that as well. So I love this piece. It's so flowy. It's awesome. I love about the fabrics. I have sensory issues, so I love to incorporate the sensory feel to that. Look at how flowy this is. I can't believe I'm so proud of myself to be able to even be showing this and talking to you guys about this and to share my work with you and my artwork and to show you how long, this has been a long time coming. This has not been a one-time moment or I just did this. I've been working on this forever and a day now. So I also love to, let me pull this up. I love making, will I do it? Yes. So this was my old room. This is, you can see I have blonde hair in this. So it's been a while. And my room right now has way more fabric collection. Way more. But I got the fortune of making a veil for a bride. And I thought it was just the most awesome thing because this is a piece that she'll get to hold on to forever, right? She'll get to pass this on to her children potentially, and she'll get to share this with herself. So it's really, really cool to be able to be a part of something or someone's life through a piece of work and not just through your I'm just here, right? But through your piece of work. And that was really cool for me. So this was the piece that I actually made in 24 hours before I went to LA. And this is Will. And this is a piece I wore to his LA Shorts premiere last July. As you can see, so funny story about this. I flew in that day. My flight was there was so much delay that going on. I was supposed to have at least a couple hours before the film festival, before all the festivities, and everybody getting ready before the photo shoot. And of course, why would any of that be that way? And so I flew in, and I think I want to say it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I flew in, and I Ubered to my spot. I actually hilariously got lost. Okay, really quick, hilariously. So when I got my Uber spot, which my Airbnb place was fantastic, top-notch Airbnb place. When I go back again, and that's where I'm staying at, and it's just, it's amazing. I love that spot. So if you're ever in LA and you need a spot to stay, let me know. There's one. I don't know where areas or how far away from where you are, but I know a spot. And so, host, great. However, my Uber dropped me off across the street, right? So I get all my stuff, I get out, and I come across the street, and I'm waiting, and I go up into this house, and this house looks nothing like the Airbnb I booked. First of all, nothing like the Airbnb I booked. And I'm first, I'm well, Adela, maybe you didn't, whatever. I'm trying to give myself, I messed up right there. But I also know deep down I did not mess up. There's no messing this up. And so I start walking down this, there's this and me in alleys. I don't know what it is with me in dark alleys and going down these dark alleys to find things. I don't know what it is, but I am always down a dark alley. And as soon as I saw myself going down that dark alley, I was no, this is not the spot. So behind this house, there's this house and there's another house and there's a little dark alley. None of this looks nice in a sense, not the way the pictures presented themselves. In my picture, there was a bathtub and a backyard, which is, I'll show you in just a second. This right here, where is that at? Oh my goodness, it's hilarious. So, bathtub. Here we go, bathtub. This photo right here will show you. So, this photo right here, this is my space, and in my space, as like I said, this is what I booked. I booked a space that's got a bathtub out in the back that I can use for a photo session for a second, that I can really just have some fun with and enjoy it in. There's like a place to go outside, there's a fire pit, and it's just really tranquil, peaceful, artistic, and Adela approved. But where I was at was none of this at all. So I am panicking at this point, and I'm going like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, where did I end up? Because this is not it, not one bit. So I'm sitting here and just like almost want to cry. So I call Will. Because he calls me in a second within that, because we had to be at a certain schedule. So I make it to the Airbnb by like 4:30 or something, maybe 5 o'clock. We're supposed to be at the studio at 6. The like now we're just boom, boom, boom. I just got off the plane. I'm trying to find my Airbnb. He's coming to pick me up. I'm supposed to go to photograph. I'm supposed to change and look. Like, this is Adela fresh off the airplane. Messed up hair, all kinds of stuff. I did a little wipe down in the, in the studio where we were filming at real quick before it changed. But this is Adela fresh off the airplane. And I'm saying she's looking fabulous in what she did, how she did it. And all I'm saying is, like, got to give a girl kudos. So I'm crying now, and I'm like, oh my God, where am I at? I don't know where I'm at. Well, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. And I look across the street as he's like, what do you mean you don't know where you're at? He's like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm going to help you. I'm going to find you. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to keep looking. I was like, don't leave me. Don't get off the phone with me. I might die. And then I look over across the street, and my Airbnb is like 2 houses down across the street. And because you could see the pretty fence, the flowers, the garden, you could see the prettiness that I paid for. Okay. And I was like, I found my space, got in, got my key code, got inside the space, put my suitcases down, popped the suitcases up because he was only about 6 minutes away from me. Popped those suitcases open, grabbed a few things, shoved them in the bag with literally the same clothes on that I just came out of a flight on. I think maybe I had a little bit of food that day. It was just a day of fly in, get to doing what we need to do, get to set, get to go in and move on. And so I'm like feeling like a nervous wreck now because, one, I'm meeting a whole bunch of people I don't know. I'm also seeing my friends, which is great, but I didn't sleep. I don't have enough rest, and I'm supposed to go photograph, and I'm going to be here. And so I'm just losing it a little bit. And Will, of course, being Will, shows up, saves the day. We go, we do our thing, and then we go photograph. And it was fantastic. So this is one of our shots right here. This is the dress I made for the event, and I'm very proud of it. You guys, I made this in 24 hours. This was actually a designated fabric for a wedding that did not unfortunately happen. But I was like, what am I going to do with it? What exactly am I going to do with this piece and this fabric? And within those 24 hours, I made that piece, which I thought was really cool. And it's just really exciting to be able to, again, show up and see and do my thing while on top doing another thing that I love to do, which is just to create genuinely, whether that's in photography, that's in fashion, whether that's in the podcasting world now, or in any world. Like, I love to create. What can we create? How can we create? So this is the piece. So I'm really excited for the pieces. This piece I actually created for the Jacksonville Greater Cultural Council. I think that's how it is, for their gala event this year, and it was a futuristic theme. So I think I did this within 24 to 48 hours, maybe I gave myself a little bit more time on this. I don't know why I do deadlines. I don't know why I do the deadlines that I do. I don't know why I put the pressure on myself that I do, but I do it. It really, it's a toxic trait in the best, worst way. So, but I make it. Look at that. Your girl right there. I love how my tattoos look when I actually put stuff on. I get so excited to show them off. But the pants are awesome. They're full on sensory sequence pant, so you can just rub on them and like have the sequence be, going up and down. It's a full sensory. It was great to walk in, and you could tell who the sensory people are because they need to touch and they need to like rub on that, and it just gives them the greatest joy. So a lot of my fabric, that's a lot of the things that I do too, is I find a way to incorporate my fabrics and incorporate the ways into the human being and where they're at, and try to meet them that way, try to start that conversation with them, because we have so many things in common. And if we figure our own like clicks and nicks and ticks that we have within ourselves and are able to manage them and figure them out, we're able to more than likely become an acquaintance with someone else so much easier and bridge that gap and have a conversation with someone just through something that you love and because you have the issue. So I have sensory issues. I have so many sensory issues. It's insane. And I need to touch I have to touch things like it's insane. So for me to create fabric and a fabric with different textures, different feelings, even the top here has 4 different textures because I needed 4 different textures. I wanted the feel of the pleather because we didn't do the real leather in there, and then I wanted the feel of a satin silky feel, and then I also wanted the structure and the corset-y feel. And so there's multiple feelings in a piece, and so when I create and when I'm here with that, it gives me the ability to just express what I'm feeling. And this was actually an homage to Project Human because you can see the color inspo combinations, and as we went to represent, obviously that was what that was for. So it was really, really exciting to do that and make that. This is another piece that I make. I love this. I love this elegance of it. I love the feel of it. I love the flow of it. It's just a very structured look for a woman. Like I said, I love a woman body. I love women. I'm a woman. I love my women. And I love their bodies. Now I understand there's so many things going on in the world that I can't access. I can't have conversations about. I can't be in all there. But I believe in a woman's existence just because the sensuality we exude just by existing. We can do so much and we can win in so many ways, but our own existence as women is so powerful, and it can change and transcend so many spaces and places at any given moment in time. And fabric or clothing do add to that. So how you dress, how you appear, how you feel in what you're wearing goes a long way. So if you're uncomfortable with something, or you don't like a texture of something, or you're not going to be happy with it, and it's going to show. And at least for me, I get irritated and my face shows. But I love this. It's a full-on cotton set, and I wanted to do something with plaid, and I love the structure and how it flows and the different feel of it. So I'm a collar girl, and some people are not collar girls. I'm also a sleeve girl. I love my puffy sleeves. Some people are not, which is fine, but that's in there. My pride and joy that we're going to be filming when we get to LA is this piece, and I'm only going to show you this preview because it's done, and that'll be it, and I want to talk about the documentary then. But let's take a look at this. But this is my pride and joy, this piece right now. Look at how this flows. For those of you who are watching, thank you. For those of you who are listening, it's such a light fabric. And the flowers on it and the details in it. It just, when Will does his thing with his camera and his creative eye, it's gonna be so fantastic. And all I have to do is just show up and bring it. And in that location, oh goodness, just the greatest. So that's happening this week. We're going to be actually photographing and filming that this week because, well, that's our creative project for ourselves that we do. Every time we come out for work and we do things, we always make sure that we do something creative together and give ourselves an opportunity to learn something. And as you'll hear in our episode next week, that's what we do. We challenge each other whenever we get to meet each other up, and we go, hey, this is what I learned, this is what I learned. This is how I'm putting it together, and this is how I am. Let's try this. Let's see what we can learn more. Oh my God, that's fantastic. And then we take those things and take that experience and move forward with everything else. So it's really inspiring, and it's epic, especially as someone who does not, because I don't value friendships the way most people value friendships. I will say that this relationship, this partnership and friendship with my friend Will and partner Will has been something that I will treasure forever, as he has absolutely indulged my ideas of craziness in the creative space and allowed me to flourish that way. So I'm so thankful. So thank you, Will. I can't wait to see you. Don't be late in picking me up. Okay, now on to the next thing that I want to talk to you about, because this is the reason why I'm going to LA. I'm going to LA because Will and I are finishing the documentary. And I know we've been talking about the documentary. It's almost done. It's been years. And it's not been like years, but it's been about 3-4 years now. The reason why, and as we talked about in our interview this past when we just did it, because the documentary is done from a little bit of a different point of view from us, we're looking at an evolving documentary. We're looking at it like for moving forward versus a historical perspective. When I started, it was historical perspective, right? When I started this, it was all about me going home, and it was about talking about Bosnia, about what happened in the Bosnian War and the Balkan Wars, about telling the story of the people and where the tragedy that occurred in so many ways. And I went down the hole. I started studying, I started learning, I started understanding, and I started learning so many truths that were not my truths from stories. I started trying to understand and correlate my stories with my memories and the stories of what was written and the things that actually happened in the news. And there's just so many discrepancies left and right, up and down, in and out, in every shape or form. That the war is so muddy and so dirty. There's not a clear narrative, clear picture. And every side lost. Every side was impacted. And at the bottom line, at the end of it all, the humans paid the price. The innocent human lives were the ones who paid the price. We casualties, just because we existed in a time and space that someone else who's not even there wants it, right? And that was really hard to digest and understand and process, because I have a home back home that I've been told, and in stories in my life that I need to defend and need to be here. I need to exist in that identity, and then a home here that I don't understand. So it was really hard to find an identity, really hard to define one, or even say that I even knew what the definition of an identity was, right? Do you even know what identity means? That was a hard question to answer. So off track, but I'm realizing I have a couple of words that I keep continually saying. They're popping up into my head. So, and also, and we'll work on that, because we don't want them to be boring. Like. Anywho, back on track. And as I started this, as now, and I'm here finishing it up and putting this documentary together, realizing the growth that I've had, realizing the journey that this has been in the making is insane. And how much effort for someone who knows nothing about, now she knows, but at the time didn't know anything about documentary making, anything about making film or any general producing, any of that. Someone who didn't understand, what it meant to have a great outline, how to have one, the structure of everything, who on a whim decided that she wanted to create something because there was a story to tell. And I think that's something that all great journalists, if you will, and not that I consider myself a journalist in any shape or form, but I do believe that one day I'll have a platform and a space and a voice that will have that connection where we're bridging and where we're really having the conversation to the masses. And that's journalism in its sense, just anybody who it can influence and communicate and motivate and inspire human beings around any shape or form. And depending on the type of stories you're telling, you're a journalist. And especially in this time and age with the resources we have to do. So I decided that, when I was going through and putting this together, I really had to become the journalist of my own story. I had to take it into my own hands. I had to look at it from a perspective of an unbiased person, as someone reading this story of a human being who's gone through something, of a young girl who's gone through life and tragedy and experienced it, to a woman now who's trying to navigate and live life and win and succeed as a career, as a mother, as all of these things. And while at the same time, she's mentally completely not capable, because she's not at the capacity to be able to do that. And what's really cool is that when I look back on it now, I used to have pity when I saw it. Now when I look back at it, I have so much sympathy and empathy for her, because that was a woman stuck in a child's mind who didn't understand what she was doing, where she was going, or how she was acting, but she was willing to try. And as I mentioned to my friend Will when we talked, I was like, can you believe that I was a child with a tantrum during the time that we were working? This is just a couple of years ago, so this is very, very fresh. But I was a child with a tantrum because I knew I wanted to do this. I didn't know how, I didn't know why, and I was getting my lollipop, damn it. I was getting my piece of candy, and I'm getting it, and I'm getting it now. And it's really, really cool, because all these little moments that I thought I was getting we're all little bits and pieces to get the bigger picture and create the bigger, cake of it all and create an even more sweeter icing. And so I am now in that stage where I get to look back on this as we're moving and forward and creating this trailer now. And that's what, like I said, we're going to LA for. And I'm really, really excited. I'm so excited to share with you her story. And it's my story, of course, as well. But I really want to share with you her story because this being that you see in this documentary is someone who couldn't see past anything other than a mission to create. And that's something that's within me, right? Like that's part of me, obviously. It's my greatest thing. But it's as if no amount, I didn't need to know the no. I didn't need to know the how. I didn't need to know the why. I didn't need to know. I knew that was it. I knew it, period, point blank, that this was it. Just like this podcast, just like this organization, just like I knew that's it. But I had no context to it because my brain wasn't developed enough to be able to receive information, understand and process the information, evaluate the information, then extract what it needed to be, discard what it doesn't, and then apply it. The greatest aspect of it was to apply that information into action. And here I am now with the results and the outcomes, maybe not the way I thought myself first and the reality of how I desire that outcome to be. But outcomes, great outcomes nonetheless. Outcomes, here are the results of that and outcomes. And with that, I want to share with you one of those outcomes. Some of these outcomes that we're doing and getting ready. So we have not shared many of these photos yet or any of this stuff, but I wanted to share with you a couple of pieces that are part of our documentary, and some from the first one and some from the second one, which is kind of cool. So let me see if I can pop this up and we get into this and photos. There we go. All right. So when we started this documentary, we started it with this idea. Here is me thinking I'm boss lady and everything. Again, remember, this is blonde hair Adela thinking she could rule the world and have a career and all the great bits. This is actually the documentary. And this is the scene particularly was when we were right before we were finishing it, or right before we were starting it. But after this day, that day was the day I collapsed completely. As soon as we got done, I completely collapsed. And I remember my friend Yolanda, the one with the blue hair that just popped up right there, that gorgeous little lady right there. She grabbed me, picked me up. She knew it was wrong, where I was at with that, because my pain was just immensely insane. And from that moment, we did this in July, and then by November, my health got so terribly worse. And this was, I believe, in 2022 when we did this. So by the end of 2022, my health became so bad that by 2023, I had spent the whole year working with doctors and trying to navigate and healing and figuring that out, and then come back to 2024 to pick up where I left off, and not only my creative space, but my, organizational space, my self space, everything, because for a whole year, I had to take it off and figure out what the heck was going on with me and where I was at, and really deep dive into my health. What am I taking and eating and doing and thinking and feeling, and how am I processing this, and why am I bleeding? My nose is bleeding for hours at ends, and I need to go to the ER. Am I having an aneurysm? Am I gonna die? These insane thoughts were going through my head nonstop, and it was right after this. So from that moment until the beginning or towards maybe September, October of 2023, I was in full-blown pain and trying to navigate a doctor's appointments and figuring it all out. And then I got cleared that year as well, too, within that. And then it was just navigating and learning my life anew, if you will, from what I got. So it was really cool. So it's really cool to be able to go back and see that. And you can look at yourself and look at the journey and you say, wow, I can't believe that on top of the pain that I felt, on top of the struggle that I had, on top of how badly depressed I was even during that time, what I was able to accomplish. We don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we do, especially when we're in the space and time and place that we're not okay. But when we are okay, we want everybody else to recognize us, but we can't recognize it. And I just don't understand why we can't do that that. So I want to be the one to recognize my own self. As who was it? Snoop Dogg said, I want to thank my fucking self. Well, I thank my fucking self for making it all the way to here, because my goodness, has it been a struggle. So we did that, and we filmed these interviews, which was really cool. And so we had a couple people, and then 2 years later, these same people, 1, 2, 3, we brought them back, which was cool to hear their stories and see them. We also got fed really good. I wanted to share this with you. Miss Yolanda over here, not only was she an interviewer with us, but she also was our chef for the day. And when I'm talking about a personal chef, I'm talking about she homemade this stuff. Listen, on my sets, we do not skimp out. We do not go like, we go hard. Okay, we're not doing ham sandwiches. I love you all who do that. That's fine. You're feeding, but like, we can do better. And I use the people around me with their skills and talents that they have. And she has a chef talent. She loves feeding people. So she fed us. And we had fantastic food. I had, the best. I think she had a beef brisket that day she had done while we were working. And then at the end, because I had just requested mashed potatoes and some bread, because that's just me. But mashed potatoes and the brisket and the bread. Heavens. Just I'm starving now and I want it. Anyway, so she fed us. She was fantastic. This was a crew of people that, again, decided they were going to be part of this interview and this process. And I looked back on there. What was I trying to accomplish with this? What was I trying to do? I was literally learning. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was learning through conversation. And I think that's one of the greatest keys and one of the greatest things you can take away from anything in life is that no matter what you do, you can learn through a conversation. One conversation can change your whole life. One conversation can make you or break you. One conversation can be the end all or be all. So, always be the all to someone in that conversation. Always be the best version of what you need to be in that conversation. And the more you are the best version and the most honest version in a conversation, the more honest and best version of a conversation you're going to have with yourself. Because then you can't lie. You can't tell lies. And even through here, I know exactly the lies I was telling myself here. I know exactly what I was telling myself here. But I was willing to go through it and to win and to learn. And it's really cool to see this process and to look back on it and see how far we've all come. All of these humans who've been here have come back so far. And, as you can see, there's 2, and then there's a third one, Miss Monique too. She got added this last year as well through the other one too, and she, telling her story, and she's part of our LOL film festivals here, and she produces that, and it's just fantastic where we're all going and what we've all done. So I'm so excited for you to see their journey. And you can even just see, again, even just looking at this from their profile pictures, and these are just stills, you guys, there's just moments in time, but you can see that there's a difference in their being. There's a difference in their energy and their aura in how they're lifted based off of the 2 years from when we first filmed to now. And so I'm really excited to share with you again that. And so follow us, subscribe to that, because this documentary is going to be something that's pretty epic, and your girl over here has done her job. As you can see, she's done her job, made it work. Look at that, done it. And I want to win, you guys. I want to win hard. I want us to be top notch, top aspect, top everything. We will on our website here, so go check us out, go sign up, go do what you need to do. But we will be coming up pretty soon with our Define the Narrative documentary page, where you will get to see behind the scenes, sign up as a member, support, and all that. So come July, we'll have a whole lot of stuff coming up for you. But in the meantime, follow us with all the things that we're doing, all the changes that are happening. That would be great, and all that. But I wanted to share that with you, why I love fashion, why I love art, why I love photography, why I love creating, right? And that's the essence of everything that I do. Is the human has the ability and the potential to create. That means just that you have the ability and the potential to create your life at any given moment, any given time, at any given aspect, because you are the creator. It might take some time, and you might need more resources. You may not have everything. You may not understand how to, but and you need to trust that you're capable and trust the process, and that you're also worth the effort of doing everything that you're doing, because eventually it pays off. Eventuality is inevitable. I'm going to leave you off with that. Eventuality is inevitable. because eventually you end up doing those dishes. Eventually you make your bed. Eventually you put this away. Eventually you write your play. Eventually you start your business. Eventually you succeed. Eventually. Now, how long is eventually? Totally up to you and the amount of effort, the amount of work, the amount of luck, the amount of faith, the amount of all the circumstances and, everything else to go along with that. That's up to you. But eventuality is inevitable. So as I just proved to you, eventually you got to my point here. I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to create a documentary. I wanted to create projects. I didn't know how. I didn't know what I was doing. And eventually I got them completed. Eventually the documentary will be done. Eventually, everything. Eventually. But you can't take the eventually and make it an eternity, because that's also inevitable. Eventuality is inevitable in one way or another, whether in eternity, whether in your speed of, eventuality is good or bad. I would like my eventuality to be short, sweet, and speedy and effective, right? And quality based, so that my eventually is a full-on win and it doesn't take me forever. But it can also turn into that my eventually might be a lifetime of work, or my eventually might be my demise, my eternity, my thing, because I don't finish, I don't do, I don't move, I don't act upon, right? You have to ask yourself those questions. You have to put yourself in those moments and ask these. Are you going to eventually decide to win, or are you going to win today? For me, it's always a win. The eventually comes in the process. Every day I have to get up and every day I have to do something, and eventually it'll pay off. Every day I have to get up and every day I have to put forth effort, and eventually it'll pay off. The outcome doesn't matter. It matters, as we all know, because we want the outcome to be the outcome, right? But the actual outcome itself does not matter, because it's an ever-changing process. So the outcome will not be the same as you intended it to be, ever, because you have so much unknown information. So eventually the outcome changes. Eventually everything changes. Eventually you have to change too. Eventually you have to take accountability and responsibility for everything in your life. And then eventually you change it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I thank you for listening. I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for downloading, you guys. You have been so fantastic. We're so close to 400. So thank you for the downloads. Please go download some more. That would be great. I appreciate it. And then, like I said, support us by subscribing, liking, doing all the bits and pieces that everybody asks everybody to do as they move forward. I also would like to ask you that if any of our messages resonate with you, if any of our stories resonate with you, please leave a comment. Please leave us and share with us, or email us your stories. It would be awesome to hear from you. And as we move forward and as we grow, and as you watch me grow too, it will be great for the feedback and for us to evolve and get better. And as you can see, I'm getting better every day, from episode 1 to episode 20, 30 now. We're getting better every single time that we do something. And that's all this life is about, you guys. This life is about the ability to get better and the opportunity that we are given by God, because that is the one thing. Our breath is our currency, right? And without that breath, we don't have anything. And if we do not account for those seconds in this 24 hours that we're breathing in every single day, then we are not doing the service to ourselves. So I want you to understand that, and I want you to know that you're so worth the effort and so loved, and that you're capable of doing that. And part of what we do, you've seen me grow that. You've seen the growth in me as well. You can do it. Give yourself that credit that you deserve for that. Anyway, I love you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. And until next time, I hope you have the best and most wonderful time of your life. I think that's what I want to say. All right. Adios, guys.